The following podcast contains explicit language, graphic violence, and more than one of us being played by Eddie Murphy. Viewer discretion is advised. You're putz! You're putz! You're putz! And you're putz. You should change the name from the 4 a.m. podcast to the 5 Putzes.
Fuck you, and fuck you. Who next?
Four guys and a movie. Four guys and a movie. Donnie, Brian, Rob, and Joe reviewing movies for the show. Four guys and a movie.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 4 a.m. podcasts.
Hey, fuck you!
Yes. Fuck all of you.
Peasants.
Welcome back to the podcast about movies, snacks, and all things nerdy. I am your host and your prince. Prince. Prince.
Rob,
formerly known as Rob.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go with that. Kind of lost my track there.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make me your manservant, Tony?
You're my harem. This is my harem.
Oh, no.
Nope.
No, not in the least.
No? All right.
Especially not me, please.
Maybe your ball washer.
Yeah, definitely. Come
I am
royal
Brakishi,
ball.
the goat herder.
All right. Who next?
King Joffrey,
Yep.
Johnals.
King Truffle Rock Copter.
King Joffelcopter. Okay.
All right.
Tony stole the one I was going to go with.
I'm sorry.
Sexual chocolate!
Ooh, sexual chocolate. All right.
This movie has so much to pick from.
It do.
I didn't think of any of it.
No, I was going to be your humble servant, Semi.
I'll be your other humble servant, Flaccid.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lake Flaccid.
Anyway, we watched Coming to America today. Well, some of you watched it yesterday.
I watched it yesterday, having come back to America.
Today.
From
Rank that Neil Diamond.
Today.
From Africa?
From Norway.
Oh.
It's
the
pretty much the
Africa of the North.
There you go.
Sure.
I mean, it's better in Kenya,
Yeah.
according to the song.
Yeah.
Rob,
Yeah.
host, do something.
No. All
All right, Tony,
I've
the
not-
information about the movie. Go.
Yeah, I'm stun locked. I'm sorry.
I don't know why, but all right, yeah. So, Coming to America, rated R, from 1988, directed by John Landis. I believe this is only our second John Landis movie, surprisingly.
What was the other one?
Anyone?
John Landis. That was not Home Alone. That's Chris Columbus. John Landis. Shit. I know this, but I don't know it right now.
Three
Ninjas.
Ninjas.
Three Amigos.
Oh. Okay.
He also did Trading Places and one of my personal favorites, An American Werewolf in London. I always got to give him credit for that.
Okay.
That's it for that part of it. So this was the start of the whole Eddie Murphy playing multiple roles thing, for better or for worse, with Rick Baker supplying the makeup effects. So it was really good stuff there.
Did he win any awards for this, Rick Baker?
I did not notice that if he did.
Because, like,
I don't think he did, though.
if none of these characters were talking, I wouldn't have known, like, half of these guys were the same person. Like, they genuinely looked like different people.
There actually was one point, it was the Reverend, where for a second, I'm like, is that Arsenio Hall or Eddie Murphy? I'm not 100%. Like, I knew it's one of them,
Yeah.
but the makeup was that good.
Well, the guy was the was it Sexual Chocolate? The guy singing?
The singer
Yeah.
was Eddie.
Like,
Yep.
genuinely, like, he wasn't talking. I wouldn't have been able, I couldn't have told you that was Eddie Murphy in makeup.
I mean, honestly, like, when I was a kid, having never seen like the end credits, I did not know that the old Jewish man was Eddie Murphy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
There you go. So pretty good job, Rick Baker. Nice work. What else?
Black
also,
people in blackface.
Yeah. Makeup
And whiteface. for that matter.
Whiteface.
makeup and such was nominated but did not win.
I guess we could just call it makeup.
And yeah,
We could.
We could.
Where's the fun in that?
Ah.
honestly, one of the things I read was that was like basically an intentional thing. Like, people have done blackface long enough. Let's,
Do whiteface.
yeah.
Sure.
But to test out Saw makeup, Eddie Murphy put it on, drove around the studios, and popped out in front of random people and was like, "Hey, I'm Eddie Murphy," and no one believed him. So he was like, "Makeup job is a go."
Nice.
Okay.
What else here? We got very early Cuba Gooding Jr., who I guess had a
Just
larger part that was kind of cut out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe not a part, but like I guess he sassed mouthed the barber and got like half his hair shaved off.
Oh.
Because
But,
from what he did in the movie, he just literally sat there, and like
Yeah. Oh yeah. he just
nodded
was
like
there
a
forever.
bird for
Yeah.
2 minutes.
There are a bunch of lawsuits for this movie. One of them was successful.
From McDonald's?
No. That I think is fine to do, but like people, at least the one that went through was somebody that claimed they basically stole a script. There was some debate over how all that went down.
Aladdin.
Of course, I kind of joked about this, but then I remembered it was true when we were watching. But the dance that the dancers do for the incoming bride at the beginning of the movie is just a fast-paced Thriller. Because
I
that's
did
the
catch
choreography.
some.
Because John Landis did the video for Thriller, so he's like, hey, let's get the same choreography.
Yeah, there were a
Done
lot
by
of
Paul
Thriller
Abdul,
moves in
too, by the
there.
way.
Huh?
Done by Paul Abdul.
Okay.
The choreography.
Well, I would have liked to see Eddie Murphy turn around with cat eyes.
Oh, also kind of in the white faces. Apparently, they recently admitted that.
Let's not call it
Well, Louis Anderson was in it because the studio basically forced them to hire a white comedian to be in the movie.
Huh.
Okay, so they're like, well, let's find the lamest one we
It
can.
was their
No,
DEI department.
I guess the studio was like, you have to pick from these three. They didn't say what the other two were, but they were like, we actually liked Louis Anderson. Well, supposedly, they said they liked him. So
I was just picturing the moment they said that Louis Anderson just rose up from behind a desk or something, or like stepped out from behind like a fern.
no, I'm guessing because I can't say for sure without doing more research, but like judging by the time frame, this was when Louis Anderson was at his peak. So it was probably like one of those, you want Louis Anderson, you want Andrew Dice Clay, or I don't know who else was big at that time. Bill Maher, maybe. I don't know.
This is when he had his cartoon show, right?
I think this was before that.
This was before that cartoon.
This was like the height of his stand-up.
What year was this again?
88.
88, yeah.
So, I wouldn't surprise me if they, out of the three, they were like, who's the dopiest jackass we can make fun of? I don't know, but
He also happened to own a McDonald's franchise, which made it easy for filming.
in the
Like
back of his
Richie
house-
Rich, he had a McDonald's in his house.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, just backtracking one sec. Could you imagine the Thriller dance for the bride presentation? Same everything, just with the Vincent Price audio track.
I can.
I would love that.
I can imagine
40,000
Thriller everything. Yeah, that's these Cheetos.
Yeah, there's also a lot of talks about like potential issues on the set because, like, I guess there was. Well, for one thing, I don't know. Like, I'm hearing a lot of things that don't fully make sense to me, but like, I guess Eddie Murphy wanted John Landis to do it. The studio didn't because of things that were happening at the time. Like, he had a bunch of flops recently, and this was just after the whole Twilight Zone thing. And I guess there's also some bad blood because Eddie Murphy did not testify on his behalf at that whole trial. So, I don't know. That's the whole thing.
For those of us who aren't like complete cinephiles, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, famously, the Twilight Zone movie, there is a scene that was shot, whatever. But the point is, he was, they had a helicopter stunt, basically. And he was like, oh, the conditions aren't great, but go ahead, do it anyway. It'll be fine. It wasn't. The lead actor, whose name is escaping at the moment, and 2 children were killed when the helicopter crushed them.
Oh.
So, kind of a big issue.
Yeah, dead kids. Speaking, yeah, go ahead.
Those listening at home, Rob has just given himself a high five.
Giving myself a low five too. You guys can't see.
That's what his other hand is doing.
10 kids and teen suicide. Yeah. Want to guess the budget this movie had?
Oh God.
There were a lot of people in this movie.
Yeah, but
All of them were played by
they're all Eddie
Eddie
Murphy.
Murphy.
Yeah, most of them were the same 3 people.
I'm gonna say 15 million.
4 billion Zamundan pounds, which I think
$6.
equates out to about $20 million.
I was gonna say 20, so I'll say 20 million and one.
Oh.
And one McDonald's lawsuit.
I'll say 19 million.
So I love not even 21 million, just 20 million and 1.
Yeah. Just a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it worked.
But I
It
took
was-
his number.
It
so
was
that's
30
fair.
million.
Okay.
I guess how much it made.
I remember this being advertised a lot.
I'm gonna say $60 million.
Like, if you got money for playing this on Comedy Central, it would have made like over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Or TNT even. I think like this played a lot on network TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Well,
that's where it got
parts
all
of this
its-
Yeah.
Yeah,
A highly edited version, which is all I had ever seen before.
Which is crazy because how much they swear in this movie.
The swearing is easy to cut out. The other parts they just
Well.
dumped.
What did you guess, Rob?
60.
Yeah, was it 60 or 60? I don't remember.
I mean, it's still the 80s, so the numbers are kind of weird. I'll go with 50.
And did you say?
I didn't say
Okay.
yet. No, I'll say 55.
45.
288.
Okay, all right.
Which again, funny to think that's considered a major flop by today's standards.
Yeah, no,
But
damn.
obviously
like,
not at that time.
I didn't
for that
know.
budget.
I didn't know movies went that high back then.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. To be fair, that is what I found for the worldwide gross. I can't say for certain if that is counting for any re-releases in theaters or things like that, but I don't believe so.
That's pretty good. What does all that money buy you?
Africa.
Like,
Well,
a whole
the
lot
map
of
painting
people.
of Africa.
Buys
anyway.
you 1988 Wakanda.
Yeah, that's true.
IMDb's cast list is all over the place on this thing.
Yeah, it seems to be in order of appearance. So
Yeah.
you might want
Sorry.
to refine by popularity or something.
Oh, I tried. It's still
Oh, really?
weird. Yeah.
Oh.
So, all right, you got Eddie Murphy as Prince Akeem, Clarence, Saul, and Randy Watson. Arsenio Hall's in here somewhere. There he is, as Semi, Morris, Extremely Ugly Girl, and Reverend Brown.
Is that what it's?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you look in the cast, all of the women that they see at the club in that scene all have really demeaning names.
That's probably what it said on their little sheet that they got to play. You know,
You got James Earl Jones as King Jaffe Jaffer,
this
ruler
big
of
fat king.
all he surveys. Mage Sinclair as Queen Aeolian. You got Sheila Johnson as the Lady in Waiting, and you got John Amos. His first time on the podcast wearing pants, but not his first time on the podcast.
What was he in that he didn't? Have
All the way
pants?
back in episode 1, Beastmaster.
Oh shit!
He was here from the beginning.
Oh my gosh,
Who we're talking about?
John Amos.
John Amos was Mr. McDowell.
Mr. McDowell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's in Beastmaster.
All right.
I knew he was in a bunch of like shitty sci-fi movies, but I didn't realize he was in that one.
Mm-hmm.
I must have
Not the
been...
guy from Full House.
Nope.
No.
Not at all.
Wait.
Okay.
Full House. Okay.
You got
Just don't.
I might need another break.
Samuel L. Jackson enters the chat for a minute.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in here. We already talked about Louis Anderson.
How
You know
many
what's
Sam
sad?
Jacksons have we? Did we did Deep Blue Sea, right?
Yep.
He's in that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What else was he in?
Don Amici and Ralph Bellamy show up for a sec as
Yeah.
reprising their characters from Trading Places.
Yes.
I could keep going. There's a lot of people. in
It's
this
a lot of
movie.
people. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
We did.
Did we say Lisa's?
I did not
name?
find Lisa.
And
I-
Daryl probably would be the.
Daryl was Eric LaSalle.
Okay.
Remember him from ER.
That's where his fucking douchebag face is.
Yep.
It's hard to
He
place
still
him without
played a
the.
douche in ER too.
It's hard to place him without the Jerry curl though. Like you don't recognize him without that.
And I cannot find
Oh, Tony's got a thing.
Lisa.
Sherry Headley.
Sherry Headley. There you go.
Sherry Headley as Lisa.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
I know. The great thing is she thinks about everything. All right, well, there were other people in this movie, but it's it's fine. We're good. There was a lot of
There's not a
See how long
picture,
until he looked up.
but Mary Bond Davis plays Big Stank Woman.
Big stank.
wait.
Yeah.
Which one?
I'm
was the
guessing
big
that's the larger woman that did the 2 shots or whatever
It's like,
before.
90 minutes ain't enough for me.
Well,
Maybe.
was
that would be my
her,
guess.
or is it the lady that came in at the beginning with the
To
betrothed?
introduce the bride.
Could be her too. I don't know.
Could
It's
be. I
not very
suppose.
very clear on who the big stank.
I would hope they would give her a better name than the random people they were hitting on in the club, but yeah,
knows,
maybe not.
man? Who
Yeah, maybe not.
knows?
Maybe not.
So
This movie.
this movie.
Tony, do you know if this beginning to the movie, are we looking at an actual aerial shot heading toward, like, superimposed on a matte painting? Is that palace real?
That palace is
Palace
definitely
is not real.
Yeah.
I can
But
tell
there
you
are
that.
people moving in front of it. So
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, it's Matt
It was a
Painter.
good effect.
It's movie magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, are we flying through a model in the beginning? Or are
I
we-
was trying to figure out trying to figure that out
Yeah.
myself. I did not read anything
I'm
about
guessing
that.
it's probably
You know
just.
what?
Because I'm like, that palace does not look real.
Oh, the palace
But-
is so not
Nah,
real.
But
probably
like
just like
everything else sure did.
It's probably just like a layered shot, and they just
Yeah.
So anyway, the camera flies over to jungle for a while.
a long while.
Yeah, you get some drums playing, and it comes upon this huge palace in the kingdom of Zamunda, and
Now, Joe, did you watch the Dropbox copy or something?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Just making sure we all saw the same thing. Because no, what did you watch, Brick?
I bought it on YouTube or rented it on YouTube.
Okay.
Were there titties?
Oh yeah, they're titties.
Okay.
How many?
Good number of titties.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, if you're paying
I didn't.
for it,
I
you
didn't
better
count.
get the.
So
No, I just just wanted to make sure we all saw the same version.
Yep.
It wasn't like a.
so
Oh, well, if I could just throw in here, one other tidbit I mentioned while we were watching this, which is John Landis said, like, around the time they were going to put this on Blu-ray, he was like, I regret a few things about that, and I wanted to, like, tighten it up and make it a little snappier. So would you let me do, like, a director's edit? And the studio was like, no. And I think we can all agree, probably could have used that.
Yeah, there's some fat that could have been cut from this.
I don't know.
film.
I think the movie for me, it's 2 hours. It's not like it's egregiously long.
No, but I don't want a 2-hour comedy. You know?
Well, not even just that, but like, because like if it's 2 hours and it needs 2 hours, I
Yeah.
want to give it 2 hours.
I mean,
But as I was saying that, we spent like what felt like forever just flying over that
Yeah,
first
there's not-
opening
well,
scene
so
showing the
I wouldn't
names.
cut out
like-
scenes, but there are like establishing shots that go on
Yeah,
a little
just
too long.
scene 1 and scene 2, where the band is playing him awake, do go on a little
Yeah,
bit too
right, that's-
long,
that's
but
what
it's
I'm
not.
saying, like-
It didn't bother me at all.
It didn't necessarily bother me, but it did, like, hearing, like, if I just watch, because I'd seen the movie before. Oh yeah, we skipped that part because you were having a meltdown.
Oh yeah, has anybody
Um,
seen this before?
All of us, many times. I think
I
maybe
have
not
not.
Brick.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's usually the
But yeah,
This is the first time I've seen a non-TV edit of it.
fair. Me too.
that That might be the same. I don't know. But like, I know I lost my train of thought. Oh, but like, I don't like before when I watched this, it never really, I hadn't thought much about it, but hearing that and watching it now, there were so many parts that felt like almost like that Family Guy thing of like, we hit the joke, here's the punchline, and then we keep going for another 3 minutes. Like, you probably could tighten it up a little. Not that you need to remove a ton, but like just tighten it a little. You know?
Again, point that out when we come to one of them.
We'd be here all day.
Yeah.
Because again, it's things like you said, we're playing him a wig.
Yeah.
Just doesn't need to go
The
on
dance
that
to
long.
introduce
The
the
dance to
princess.
introduce princess. Few minutes shorter.
I enjoyed the hell out of that.
It's fine, but you probably could have made it just a little shorter.
I'm going to disagree. We're going to agree to disagree.
All right, that's fine.
So anyway,
Anyway.
this dude waking up the prince is a 20 to 30 man process. There's women involved as well, a 20 to 30 person process. But a selection of strings and horns enter the balcony of his bedroom to play a soothing tune to awaken him. Like the castle's like head servant. I don't know what his actual title would be.
He'd be
His
like-
name's Oha.
He's like the seneschal.
The seneschal, yeah, good word.
Guy's
Is
awesome.
just
He's one of my
waiting-
favorites.
just waiting by the bed. There's 3 women that have to throw roses at his feet as he walks. There's like 10 or so guys with his wardrobe picked out. We don't get to see them, but they are royal wipers.
Yeah. Is that? I mean, is that a thing? Is that a
I
thing
think
you
it
want?
actually.
I mean, it depends on
It was-
your place,
It
but
was
yeah.
an exaggeration, but yeah.
No, I get it. I
They're-
was just like, I think I would have left a long time ago if a bunch of people were coming at my butthole.
Yeah, I believe I actually just recently on a big fat quiz of everything. There was
That's every Friday.
there was a question that I forgot exactly what the thing was, but basically King Henry VIII, I think, had like official people that attended to his bottom.
But well, think about this, Rob. Though, what if you were raised your entire life with someone wiping your butthole, and like the idea of your hand going anywhere near feces is like that's just
I
unacceptable.
wipe my ass with a rag on a stick.
Yeah, like if
Comfort wipe.
that first time no one was there, like when you had your first of many bathroom disasters,
Fair.
like
mean,
what
yeah.
would you do? Like,
Well, that is the thing. It's easy to say that, but some people do have a hard time understanding that if you are raised in that certain way, like
Yeah.
and his potential bride was literally raised to have no thoughts of her
Yeah.
own, so she has like literally no thoughts of her own.
feel so
okay.
bad for her.
Almost
what
like
if-
that, I guess, but
What if the only thing Eddie Murphy changed was that he wanted to pick somebody else as his wife? So he goes to New York, and Arsenio Hall has to wipe his ass until he meets Lisa. And then when they get married, he expects Lisa to wipe his ass for him.
what about it?
Well,
It's just funny to me.
I mean, honestly,
I guess my
it
guess
is entirely possible that Semi does wipe his ass the
Yeah.
whole time, and then, I mean, he has a tendency to wipe his ass once he marries Lisa.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I imagine if he marries Lisa, like whoever, if it's Arsenio Hall or not, whatever, whoever he has as official wiper will continue their job. There'll just be a new person that will wipe her ass as well.
Now, I wonder, like, King Jabber or whatever his name is, he has raised his entire life having someone wipe his own ass. But his wife, who was raised to marry him, once she became his wife, does she too have somebody, like at that point, is she no longer allowed to wipe her own bottom? Like, does she have someone else
Yeah, my guess is
coming to take care of it?
there's a good chance she never wiped her own bottom.
Yeah, that's true.
'Cause
She
She
might
was
have been
raised
important
to be a
enough.
queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
True. She may be royalty as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
all
don't know. I'd
important
put money on
questions.
the women being second-class citizens enough that they don't get their own butt wipers.
That is possible, but like,
Yeah, but it could be even lower class women doing it.
oh, for sure.
So either way, we
circle
learned that
of
it's his
poop.
birthday, and We get one of the movie's more infamous scenes where it's just him sitting in a bathtub and there's titties out. There's like two women like gingerly dabbing him with a sponge. Well, one woman's doing that. One woman's just standing there showing off all the whole world or stuff. And then a third one pops out from the water and is like, the royal penis is clean, Your Highness. And he's just like,
Yeah.
and then we move on to him being dressed and you know, him like getting his teeth brushed and whatnot. And it's like a 20-man job getting him ready. And today we learned that it's he is to meet his bride-to-be.
To be fair, it is kind of the same situation for Louis Anderson, but just for different reasons.
Yeah, but Louis Anderson, it's more like the scene in Jurassic Park where they're bringing the Velociraptor in. Like, there's more like shockers and ropes and stuff like that.
Wow.
Every other week, there's a lawsuit because he's killed one.
Occasionally, one of them
killed one of the
gets in.
handlers. Shoot
Casual
him!
mauling.
Shoot him!
Fun side note for the listener. While watching this, Rob made many of these terrible jokes about Louis Anderson's expense till he realized he was shoving Domino's pizza in his mouth, felt bad for half a second, and then went right back to it.
So it's the prince's 21st birthday, and he's going to meet his
bride-to-be.
Bride.
So we see they're at breakfast at this like 100-foot long table that they have to speak over speakers to.
They can't even see each other
Yeah.
because there's a centerpiece on the table
There's just
that
too much shit in the way.
obscures.
He is going crazy on the Eggs Benedict and just eyeballing his royal wiper like, you're going to have a bad day today, friend.
Not the eggs Benedict or the cuttlefish.
You've seen my downstairs mix-up.
Both.
All right, so he just gets up and like starts walking over to his parents to talk to them, and the rose bearers have to like run over and start throwing roses at his feet. And he sits down and he's like, I don't like all the pampering, you know, all the different stuff. He mentions the bathing and he's like, well, you know, the bathing I don't mind.
Yeah.
So the king listens to like 5 seconds of his problem and makes a decision, and like that's his dad's major issue here. So he's like, all right, you don't want people throwing roses at your feet? Fine. No one throw roses at his feet. Done. Settled.
Yeah.
Out of here.
Kill anybody that throws roses at your feet.
Yeah, he says they will be punished, and then all the ladies just run away.
And like a door opens by the sheer smarm of Semi, like just forces it open, and he walks in and he's just like, oh, queen, your skin looks so radiant and all this stuff. She's like, don't you have somewhere else to be? And he's like, yes, I have to take your son for his morning post-staff fight, I guess. It's their morning workout, and they're in like polo uniforms to start out. So presumably they probably rode around on some animal and beat some other animal with a mallet for a while before going into the gym to have a bow staff fight.
Speaking of animals, during this whole scene with at breakfast, sitting there, you know, talking about their problems, they're just like whipping fucking elephants back and forth across the windows to like hammer it in. Yeah, you're in Africa.
Get it? Africa. There's just elephants everywhere, man. They're like kangaroos in Australia.
So yeah, now he's talking to Semi, and Semi's like, what the hell's wrong with you? This woman's going to be hot. You're going to like tear her clothes off and fuck her right there. It's going to be amazing. Why are you complaining? And he's like, well, what if I don't love her? And he's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, she's been raised to cater to your every desire. Who cares?
Yeah, and Semi, I mean, he's a smarmy bastard, but like, you got to feel for him for most of this movie because he's like, he just wants everything that like the prince has,
Yeah.
And the fact that he has to have the front row seat to the prince, like trying to go against all this stuff that Semi would like kill someone for.
I'm tired of all this privilege. Oh, sorry. I sleep on the dirt. Well, that's not true.
Sleep on a mat
He's
behind
got
your bedroom.
he's got like his own attendants and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, this is one of the movies, like, this is, you know, a very common thing and trope that's sometimes used in movies. But this is one of the ones where I feel at least, they do it pretty well, where he is like, I'm trying to connect more with, you know, like the common man, or see what it's like not to have this kind of lifestyle. And or perhaps just more importantly, find true love and not, you know, just be handed someone, as opposed to those that come off as just like being a whiny bitch. Like, I'm so privileged. Woe is me.
I wonder, like, at a certain age, was Semi just issued to Akeem as like, this is your best friend? Like,
The royal.
Yeah,
best friend.
this will be your hetero life mate.
They don't really explain like
Yeah.
how long they've known each other, or you know, like any of that.
Also, during this fight, Semi's just wearing his finest crop top, showing off the belly. Whatchamacallit, now we cut to the royal engagement ceremony. Akeem is wearing his finest, was that a leopard or was that a cheetah wrapped around him? I forget what kind of cat he has, but he's wearing
think
wearing a
leopard.
taxidermied cat.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't a cheetah. I don't
Yeah.
remember. But
And, you know, it's fancy high society. You know, everyone's there. And Colonel Aziz shows up to offer his daughter. And this, like, giant woman comes barreling through the crowd.
yeah, what the hell was that about?
Yeah.
That was
Just-
just to set it up where he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my God, my
Gonna be one of the elephants.
bride to be is a huge fat lady."
My wife is the juggernaut.
Bitch.
But then she's like, introducing your bride to be, and we get like a 5-minute thriller dance number and some pretty awesome costumes. People are like flipping around all over the place. You know, all sorts of feathers are being shaken. It's pretty badass.
Got vajazzle beads. and
Yep.
all kinds of craziness.
A lot of body heat was generated.
And I was getting really warm.
And then, you know, they part to the side and they're all like kind of lying down to make like a tunnel. And there is his bride to be, who I don't know if we ever actually get her name as anything other than bride to be. I know that's what she's in the cast as.
Her name is whatever he wants it to
Whatever.
be.
Yeah. But as he's walking up, the Seneschal Oha just bursts out this fucking song that I forgot was so
fucking bad.
so flagrant. Like, he's like, "Here is your queen," and he's like, "Free from infection, to be used at your discretion." And that's only like midway through the song. Like, it gets worse from that. Like, it starts off as kind of a sweet number, and then you're just like, oh, okay. And Akeem's immediately like, can we talk privately for a sec? And everyone's just like, huh? And they run off to a side chamber. And also, this woman's got like a 15-foot-long train on her dress, so like it takes her forever to get in the room. And he's like, I would like to get to know you before we are to be married. So he's
What a
like,
concept.
yeah, you know, what kind of music do you like?
Whatever you
you
would
like.
like me to like.
Do you have a favorite food?
Yes.
Oh, good. What is your favorite food?
Whatever you like.
He's just like, motherfucker.
See, Joe has trained Brick well.
Sami.
So he is my loyal servant, Semi. So
You know, hey, okay.
So, fucking, he tells her to like hop on a foot, bark like a dog, bark like a big dog, make an orangutan noise. And that's pretty much the last we see of her in the movie is her hopping out of this room. I think she's there at the end, maybe. But like,
Was she still hopping?
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as we know, he never told her to stop.
Yeah.
So she just hopped off making orangutan noises till she passed out. But now the king comes in and he's like, did you know I'm Darth Vader? And, you know, he's like, son, let's go for a walk. And Oha's like, but the guests are waiting. And he's like, let them wait. And you're like, fucking, James Earl Jones is awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're walking through the gardens of this place, and like people off screen are like, throw the zebra.
Okay, now the elephants.
Now the baby elephants.
Launch the dick.
Get that baby elephant in that shot.
And again, his dad listens to his problem for maybe 10 seconds this time. And he's like, Dad, I've never even made love to her. He's like, I've assumed you had sex with your bathers. I mean, I do.
I do. Sorry, cakes as well.
Yeah, it is like too much information, Dad. But, so he's basically saying he's like, I've never really experienced a woman before. And his dad's like, oh, okay, you want to go on an international sex excursion and just sow your royal oats.
You got a
I'll
month.
give you 40 days to go just fuck everything.
Wherever you want.
Yeah, wherever you want. Fill your every carnal desire. And then when you come back, you will marry whoever her name is.
Whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. So now, he's like, it's settled. And and they leave. So he just walks back into the ceremony. He's like, in 40 days, my son will marry her. Good night.
Everybody go home.
Everyone
Yep.
can go home now.
And Akeem, he tells Semi that he wants to find his bride in America. And they do a coin toss to narrow it down between Los Angeles and New York. And then so now they're looking at the map of New York with the magnifying glass. Oh, Akeem's face is on the coin, by the way. But they're looking at New York with the magnifying glass, and they're like, where could we find a bride? And then, obviously, Queens.
Obviously.
Yep.
But I'm changed.
So they end up in Jackson Heights, Queens, birthplace of John Leguizamo.
Oh,
No wonder it's such a shithole.
the pest himself, huh?
Yeah, at the airport, they show up. They're wearing like fancy suits, and then they have like furs over that, and like gold necklaces and silly hats, and just they're like festooned with royal trimmings. And Akeem's like, we must appear to be normal people. No one can know that I am royalty.
Yeah, good luck with that.
And then, of course, as they walk past, there's like 5 guys carrying their baggage.
Tons of baggage.
And yeah, not knowing how America works, he just steps out of like LaGuardia or whatever, just into traffic and is like, halt! Taxi. Guy's like, you dumb fuck.
Which, now he knows how America works.
Fair reaction. So now this cab, it's like in Baron Munchausen where he has like his strongman carry all of the Sultan's treasure out. This cab is just laden with shit. It's like
The roof, inside the trunk, and then on the hood of the trunk.
Yep. And so he has the guy the cab driver drop them off in Queens, and they're at a like hotel, an apartment complex that in the basement has the Mighty Sharp barbershop.
Yep.
And they walk in there first, and we see Cuba Gooding Jr.'s in the barber chair. You got Eddie Murphy as the main barber. Then you have Arsenio Hall as the barber that's always eating like a chicken wing. And then you've got the some other guy like Kurt Smith or something as the other barber.
Clint.
Clint Smith, yeah. And then Eddie Murphy's just like, I want to be an old Jewish guy.
Again.
What I'd never
Eddie
noticed-
Murphy again. I mean, don't want to be an old Jewish guy again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So there's 2 Eddie Murphys in here. 3 technically, counting
3
Akeem.
now. 3 Eddie Murphys, 2 Arsenio Halls.
It's going to be a tear in the space-time continuum.
1 random old dude and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Dogs and cats living together.
But they're arguing about boxing or whatever. You know, how come a white guy always got to pull a Rocky Marciano out of his ass? And then he's like, he beat Joe Louis's ass. And he's like, Joe Louis is 136 years old. And all kinds of dumb shit. And you know what I never noticed before, and it might be like because I haven't watched this in HD, but there's like the makeup for old Jewish man Eddie Murphy is pretty much perfect, except there's one spot on like the back of his lips that you can't put makeup on. So he has this weird, like, he's got like old man, like colorless kind of lips, and then like a brown ring around his mouth that I couldn't not notice.
You know, older folks, they love pudding, Joe. It's easy to eat. I don't have to take my teeth
Just
out.
a little schmutz.
Sometimes I'm just in the mood for a chocolate starfish.
Would you like some hot dog flavored water to go with that?
So now,
Only if it's kosher.
A little schmegma.
A little schmick.
so they learn from these ne'er-do-wells that they have to go upstairs to talk to the landlord to get a room. And so they do. And the moment they walk in the apartment complex, you see, like, everyone's, like, the sharks have been circling and the vultures have flown over. Like, everyone's eyeing that pile of luggage. And the moment they step in the apartment building, like, everyone jacks that shit.
Oh, yeah. It's gone.
And so in the hotel, they meet the landlord, and he's like, "Are you fucking with me? You better have money." So they show him the wad, and he's like, "Oh, all right." And then, you know, I love that he's in the middle of explaining like how the place works, and this man just tumbles down the stairs. He's like, "Hey, Stu, your rent's due, motherfucker! Don't be falling down the stairs shit with me." And he looks at him. He's like, "Are you conscious?" This is one of my favorite pointless scenes. It's right up there with like the Blues Brothers when he when he takes Jake home to like his apartment, and there's that old man. He's like, "Boy, you got my Cheese Whiz," and after he randomly throws him a bottle of Cheese Whiz.
I can't tell you how many times I've fallen down the stairs to get out of doing housework.
You conscious?
Yeah, she usually just kicks me.
Yeah. So there's
Wish you
one.
could get me out of rent.
There's one bathroom on the floor, and then the apartment's like walled off with police tape. And when you open it, there's more than one rat running around, and there's just a chalk outline of a blind man, his cane, and his seeing eye dog. And he's like, "It's a shame what they did to that dog." Again, I guess the apartment has a view. It only has one window, and it looks at a brick building. So you rented it to a blind man.
Which saddened me so much when he said that, because this is a lot like the apartment I had in Shelton.
One thing I will call bullshit on, because in the next scene, Eddie Murphy's out on the balcony through a window, and then Sammy opens up a window and talks to him.
There you go.
But
Your movie's been debunked.
Eddie Murphy's out there, and he's like, "Good morning, my neighbors. Hey, fuck you."
Fuck you too.
Yes.
Welcome to America.
So they go back outside, and the whole neighborhood is wearing their stuff. Like, everyone's got like the Prince robes on and all that.
I think even the kids and the dog have.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite was when he says, you know, I'm starting to suspect they might have taken our things. And the kid rides by on a skateboard and just like a big hat, huge glasses, all these chains.
A guy immediately like comes up to him with like the trench coat, and he's got like a gold hair dryer and toothbrushes and whatnot. So Sammy's like, "Thief!" And you know, Akeem though, he's more like, "No, let them play with our princely possessions. You know, we're here to be commoners. Let's dress as commoners." So they go to a store, and they come out, and they're just overflowing with logos.
One Mets fan, please.
Well, one of them gets to be a Giants fan. One gets the Jets Mets. One gets the Giants Yankees. But then they're looking at a TV, and we get the first of many times of the Soul Glow jingle.
Oh my god.
It's
I
just
love
the
this
best.
soul glow shit.
I can't do that falsetto, but it's great.
No one should do that falsetto.
Yeah, okay. Also, back to my point, since you wanted me to point it out, things that could be trimmed. This commercial goes on.
Shut your fucking mouth.
I'm sorry.
No, you let your soul glow, Tony.
That part at the end where you're not quite sure if it's two of the same people making out.
It could have glowed a little brighter, but a little shorter.
Yeah. Good. I'm just talking like, went on for 5 minutes. 3 would have been enough. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, go back to Mighty Sharp. They're still arguing. Oh, this is the part where he says Joe Louis was 75 years old, and Frank Sinatra came into the shop one time, and he asked him how old Joe Louis is. He's like, Joe Louis is 137 years old. And everyone's
Never met
like,
Frank Sinatra.
yeah, that's it. And he's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Who's next? And this is where Akeem gets his little like curly ponytail thing that he's been growing his whole life trimmed off, and charged $8 for that.
That's about right.
And interestingly enough, this never gets brought up anywhere else in the movie. You would think that would be the first thing that his father would be mad at. No, never gets mentioned.
His father doesn't notice things.
His father doesn't have one, so it's like,
Yeah.
like what does it even
Yeah.
mean?
To be fair, I mean, not even counting for all the other shit that's going on at that time, but it is established at the beginning of this movie the father didn't realize he grew a mustache in a year.
That's true.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally like the last time they talked to him was his previous birthday.
yeah.
It might also be one of those things like you only have that when you're single or something.
Yeah.
Like how in certain cultures, how like women braid their hair when they're single and then stop once they're married. So
This is Padawan braid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then they go to a club to run the gauntlet of the ladies New York has to offer.
They set it up like an interview. I don't know what bar would allow you to do that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like speed dating, which is just a common thing.
Yeah.
They were just
Yeah.
making their way around to different tables with different
Oh.
ladies.
Yeah,
Okay.
I imagine. Well, I imagine it was more they're inviting ladies over.
Or the other way around.
So I didn't get everybody, but one of the women worships the devil. Other than that, seems normal.
Yeah.
One of them's talking about how she's married, but she won't be married for long because her husband's on death row. One woman is burning herself with a lighter while saying she was Joan of Arc in a previous life. Two women are speaking at the same time, and this is the first time they would have dated somebody after being separated.
By the doctor.
By Mothra.
And then two women are rapping, and I'm like, that's pretty cool,
But they're rapping just about how the DJ wants to look at their tits or something.
Yes, yeah.
And then, like, there's one woman who's like, some men go 60, 90 minutes. That ain't enough for me. And then finally, the last woman is flagrantly just Arsenio Hall on track. Just saying he was going to tear one of them apart.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Both of them, yeah, in a manner not unlike Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Turns out that's what Eddie Murphy's into.
Well, it seems to be what Arsenio Hall's into. Or semi, I guess.
Oh, were they at any Diddy parties?
The only social faux pas I know of from Arsenio Hall is he got really mad when no one told him the cheese was that good.
Yeah.
He punched a guy.
I'm referring to in the movie. I'm sorry.
Wait, tell me his Jesus is damn good.
So remember the Chappelle show, that sketch where he's like, don't talk to me while I'm with my family because I will not pay attention to you. And it's showing what he's thinking about. And at one point, he's like, I wonder what Arsenio Hall's doing right now. And it shows Arsenio Hall's eating a piece of cheese. He's like, this is good motherfucking cheese. And he's like, he's going to be mad when he finds out how good the cheese is. And he just hauls off and punches the guy next to him. He's like, why'd you tell me the cheese was so good?
Okay, I don't remember that. My goodness.
So
I got to revisit the Chappelle show, I think.
It's been a while.
So they find out from one of the barbers that you want to meet a good woman, you got to go to the Black Awareness rally. That's where he's headed after work.
That's where I went. That's where I met Sharon.
Yeah.
You gotta go to the library, you gotta
Yep.
go to the church, or you go to the Black Awareness Week rally.
That's where I met all my ladies.
At the library, at the church. Wow. All right.
So
Best 2 out of 3.
I have a type.
now we get there's just women in bikinis up on stage that
Yeah.
are like Miss Black Awareness or whatever.
Hell yeah, I'm
And
aware.
Arsenio Hall is playing this questionable reverend who's talking about like how much he loves looking at these ladies, but he loves the Hugh Hefner on high, the Lord.
Classy.
Very classy, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then he introduces Jackson Heights' own Randy Watson and his backup band Sexual Chocolate.
God.
It is just the fucking worst.
Even the audience hates them.
It's funny, like, yeah, I remember at the time a lot of people joked about Eddie Murphy not being a good singer. But if you compare him to what would pass as like a celebrity having a vocal career now, he's really not that bad. Like, go back and listen to like, what's the one? My Girl Likes to Party All the Time. Or
They still play that shit on the
Yeah.
radio. Like I still hear that regularly.
I mean, it's not good, but it's
No,
not
not
bad.
good.
Like,
One of his songs is in this movie.
yeah. So anyway, Randy Watson just ruins the greatest love of all, and then at the end he's like, "Give it up for Sexual Chocolate," and just that one barber, like Clint, whatever, is clap. He's like, "This boy's good." He's like, "Sexual Chocolate, Sexual Chocolate," and he drops the microphone.
Party all the time. Party all the time.
I put that in your
Party all
head.
the time. Yep. And I always hear it as potty.
Well, yeah, that's just my butt likes to potty all the time.
Yeah. And
You know
it's
what?
true.
Honestly, I'm praying that's going to stick in there because up till this point, all I had was Coming to America, thanks to Rob.
Today.
Nope. Oh, fuck. Now I'm screwed.
All right, so now we get the record scratch because we get one of our main speakers for the evening is Lisa McDowell, one of the organizers for this event. Her father owns the McDowell's restaurant, and he's provided the food for the evening. And Akeem is like, "Oh shit, that's her right there. That's my
She can
my
think."
girl."
She's
yeah,
literally the only person I've seen dressed normally and acting normally so far. Therefore, I am in love.
the closest thing to an intellectual in Queens.
Yeah, she's not screaming, spitting, or cussing. She'll be mine.
So immediately they're just at McDowell's. They get a job there, and the movie gets the joke out of the way immediately, where they're like, "Oh yeah, we're not McDonald's, we're McDowell's." Or I don't even know if that's supposed to be a joke. I don't know why that's in there. That's actually one thing. If we were going to trim something out of the movie,
Yep.
The McDonald's.
yeah, I'll give you that
McDonald's
one,
thing.
Tony. Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes no sense.
That'd be a
Like-
cool 10, 15 minutes off the runtime.
Well, I mean, some of the scenes there are fine, but the whole
Oh,
discussion.
yeah, the
of
scenes
it,
in
yeah.
the building are fine.
Well,
but, like, the whole talk
No,
about
yeah,
it.
but even the discussion on it, like we could be like, "Hey, welcome to the restaurant. Let me show you
Yeah.
around. We're showing, this is the fry layer, whatever. Oh, hey, if you get a call from McDonald's, whatever."
I bet they wanted to actually use McDonald's, and McDonald's said no.
But
No.
that
but-
could
We hitched our wagon to Mac and me. We learned our lesson.
Yeah, I kind of doubt it because I'm sure this was probably more for the joke.
Because they
But
had
it-
McDonald's branded things in the movie. Like he's reading a McDonald's manual, like a service manual,
Oh yeah.
in his office.
So yeah, again, I'm thinking it's just for the joke, but like I said, it could have been an offhanded like, "Hey, while you're learning all this stuff, you might get a call from McDonald's. You got to tell them, fuck off, whatever." But instead, we have a whole thing where we keep cutting to a guy taking photos of the restaurant till he yells and shoos the guy
Yeah.
away, and then he explains it, and I'm like, we don't need all that.
Yeah, that
we
didn't
get
need to
it.
be there, like,
Yeah.
and because I would have just, without any question, accepted that. Oh, McDowell's is like the McDonald's of this universe, like whatever.
Yeah.
This
But,
Yeah.
well, no, but even if you want the joke of I am a guy who's ripping off McDonald's, That's fine.
Yeah.
But we don't need like that much time.
Yeah, you don't need to
it.
explain it. Like the
Yeah.
joke will explain itself.
Yeah, we get it.
That's why I think they might have actually approached McDonald's first, and then when they said no, they're like, "All right, well, fuck you. We're gonna point it out every."
Maybe, but then they do name drop McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I don't know.
Yeah, I would say the bigger thing is not just the name drop, but like you said, I think that is official
Yeah,
branded,
yes.
like the McDonald's wording with the arches
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
had
thing.
the logo and everything.
Yeah.
So.
One important thing I skipped over is there's a point where they pass a collection basket around. And Lisa mentions how important it is to donate to the cause. And Akeem's just like, Sammy, give me all your pocket money. Boom, throws this whole wad in there. And
Yeah, he does.
her boyfriend, Daryl, is just Eric LaSalle, Jerry curled to hell, like just a walking fire hazard.
He's the heir to the Soul Glow
Just a
Empire.
whole quart of motor oil in
I
there.
believe in this movie he's playing Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
Basically.
Leaving a grease stain if he sits anywhere for too long.
Is it grease
That's-
you're
yeah.
looking for?
So,
Yeah, the scene later when the family gets up and the stains on the back of the chair.
so what should we call it? Now they're at McDowell's, and having worked in a retail establishment where I've had to train employees on how to use a mop, Akeem's not the worst I've ever seen at using it.
Absolutely
Wow.
not.
Akeem does not understand the
Sad but
concept
true.
at all.
Yeah.
But at least he didn't knock the fucking bucket over.
Wow.
Yeah. Unfortunately, also, he does not show him how to use the ringer, so like there is way too much water on that floor.
you're just gonna-
It's gonna be like a
he's
KFC
tripping
in
out.
there where like the floor is always wet.
Is that a KFC thing?
The only KFC I've ever been to with any regularity, the floor was always fucking wet in there,
God. All right.
like really, really wet.
That wasn't water. That was grease.
Yeah.
It might be.
Chicken fat.
I mean, at this point, the floor might just be hydrophobic, so like the water never goes anywhere.
Just runs right off.
So anyway,
It's like Soul Glow.
Doesn't come out of the mop.
It's got a sheen of Soul Glow on that thing.
the employees are just—it's like the ice level. They're just like trying to stay on balanced and whatnot. Anyway, so Akeem does this like creepy mop by Lisa's office where she's like crunching numbers on a calculator, and he's got this weird smile on his face, and he's not even looking where he's going, and he's just mopping, and then he comes back the other way, and he goes in to talk to her, and he's like, "If you have any garbage, I will come get it. And when you think of garbage, think of Akeem." But he scores a couple points in there. He still charms her a little bit. But Daryl shows up. And Mr. McDowell, whose tragic flaw is he was born very poor, and he has worked his way up to like upper middle class. And so he wants his kids to not have to struggle with money. So he's just straight up like, "No, honey, be a gold digger. Be like your sister. Just go for it. Go for the money."
Her sister.
Yeah. Oh,
That
I
shit.
could spend the next 20 minutes just talking about that girl.
She is out of control, man.
We'll get to her.
Knows
in a
what
second.
she wants.
Yeah,
she
and
goes,
it's
"No,
No,
everything.
she
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't know what she wants.
She wants it all.
does.
Yeah.
She wants that.
Maybe.
She wants that dick.
So,
All of it.
yeah, Daryl shows up, and this McDowell's like, "Here's a strawberry milkshake. My daughter's in the office. Like, I could keep the door closed. Just go in there and fucking rail her. just seal the deal
Don't
right
worry,
now."
Akeem will get the mop.
Yeah.
We got two new guys from Africa to
Yeah.
clean the handprints off the windows.
just seal the
And
deal.
whatever else.
Hand, face, tip prints.
Put a
off
ring
of
on
the
her
windows.
and do whatever you want. Just, let me get in that fortune. And Daryl's like, "Here's 2 Jets tickets. I'm going to go attempt to plow your daughter."
Don't even wrap it. Knock her up.
Yeah, just Put a baby in it. That way
That's
we
right.
could at least get child support.
That's right. It's gonna make it John Amos seem like a fucking monster.
No, but like,
But you're not
subtly,
far
that's
off.
what. Yeah.
That's kind of what he's going for.
If you
though.
read between the lines, is what
it
he's
is
saying.
kind
yeah.
of what's
But the other thing is, like, they don't like. I understand where he came from and what his motivation ultimately, but like, he seems to be doing pretty well right now. Like, you don't need to go this hard. Like, if she marries anyone, you
Yeah.
should be fine.
But yeah.
Daryl-
But you forget to ask yourself, where's the mom? They never explain that. So he's divorced. So all that money
or
Well, they make it
in the house.
the way he talks
he's
about
still
it
got a
with
nice
her.
house, though,
I
so-
kind of interpreted
Yeah,
it
but-
as she had passed on.
Yeah, I thought so.
Wow, I don't remember them talking about her at all.
I forget the scene where they do, but they do talk about it for
there's
like
something.
a second.
got crushed by a helicopter.
I'm just thinking of.
By the way, from what I heard of the disagreement, Eddie Murphy made a worse joke than that.
Nice.
I'm just thinking of there's a video I watched of this guy who was really good at one of the Call of Duty games, and his weapon of choice was running you over with the helicopter. So you'd be like ducking behind cover, like looking to shoot over a wall, and then you turn around and the helicopter would just be there, and he'd land on you and then take off, fly away.
Okay.
All right. I don't get it. I don't know how you managed that, but that's awesome.
I would just rage quit right there. I'd be like, I can't say anything in defense of myself.
I wouldn't rage quit. I'd be like, you know what, sir, you got me. Well done.
So,
You're not camping. You're not picking me off with a sniper rifle from 80 miles away. You got me with a helicopter.
bested me in close combat with a helicopter.
You deserve the win.
So, anyway, now douchebag Daryl here, he takes credit for the big donation at the rally because Lisa's like, somebody put in a really big donation. Was it you? And he's like, oh yeah, it was me.
Well, okay. He didn't say it was him, but he didn't say it wasn't him. He was just, it was pretty much just like, whatever you think it was.
Whatever answer you need right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whatever's
Then
gonna
she
get
was
me
like,
laid.
someone also put a chicken wing in there. Was that you?
Yes. That
maybe.
was me.
Did Arsenio Hall's barber character?
I thought that was the garbage.
So, also on the way out, like he takes Lisa away in his I don't know if that was a Corvette or whatever that was, but that was a fancy car for the 80s.
IROC Z.
Yeah, and he just throws his milkshake right at Akeem. He's like, just take care of this for me, and wings it at him.
I don't know, man. If I was Lisa, I think that would have been kind of a instant sign.
Yeah.
I think it is this is also if
She's
we're gonna
aware he's kind of a douche.
yeah. But if we are making some slight changes and some cuts, this is also where I'd give a bit more time to her realizing the guy she's with sucks and the guy she wants to be with is better.
So,
Not gonna lie, I kind of like these.
that's the popped Skittles he's referring to. They go back to the Mighty Sharp, and Eddie Murphy is telling the story about a time in Washington D.C. he got knocked over by Dr. Martin Luther King.
From his story, it didn't even sound like an accident. It sounded like
I thought you were somebody else.
Yeah, Martin Luther King thought he was somebody else and knocked his ass down.
Yep.
I forgot about that. So
He did not appreciate the content of my character, I guess.
yeah. So, this man's been so reliable with his advice so far. So, he's like, how do I get this girl? Well, he wants to get like the Jerry curl, and just on ethical grounds, Eddie Murphy's barber character refuses to do that. He's like, no, your hair is too perfect. I will not let you put the trashy soul glow in it. He's like, you want to get in good with a girl, get in good with her father.
Sound advice, honestly.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to do that.
Yeah.
So he's his attempt to bond with John Amos. He describes football like the way like I go to a Super Bowl party every year where everyone there doesn't know anything about football except for me. So like the way they would describe it to me.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, the Giants of New York triumphed over the Packers of Green Bay by kicking a spheroid object through a goalpost."
So wait, you go to a Super Bowl party
Don't overthink.
hosted by somebody else
Yep.
that doesn't know anything about football?
Yeah.
Okay.
They
We
just want
watch
to have
the
a social
commercials.
event and
Yeah.
watch the commercials. And I'm the only one who really pays attention to the game.
Okay. That's fine.
Get through it.
So,
Thinking, I just see red.
so John Amos is like, I'm only going to say this once. Stay off the drugs. And we learned from Louis Anderson that Daryl is scummy and he lives off his dad's invention, his Soul Glow. And now we cut back to the McDowell house. And Lisa is just dancing all over, or Lisa's sister, Patrice, is dancing all over the place. And Lisa's reading a book. And, you know, we get, I think this is the introduction of Patrice.
Yes.
And we learn her characteristics right away.
She
You know,
has one specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, again,
Hey.
Thirsty.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
But-
not slut shame here.
things that could be cut.
Yeah.
We're playing an Eddie Murphy song while she dances, and we keep cutting to her dancing and the dog's reaction to her dancing.
I didn't mind.
I'm not saying it's bad, but again, 5 minutes could be 3. We get the point.
That dog was a badass. Could take on a fully greased Eric LaSalle.
Yeah. Hey.
So anyway, a vendor, like a delivery service shows up and just hands Patrice a package for Lisa, which Patrice just takes and starts opening.
Delivery service with a cop.
Because we find out these earrings that were just given to her cost $500,000. And they're like rubies and diamonds and just crazy. And spoiler alert, these just get handed to some woman on the subway later.
Yes.
Yep.
How much do you think Pawn Stars would give her for those earrings? What's the best they can do?
How much were they worth?
If their actual market value is 500,000, they'd probably offer two.
Yeah.
$2.
I was going to say
200,000.
200,000. Yeah, I haven't seen Pawn Stars in.
A minute.
No, I've seen like 2 episodes. I think when it first aired, so I don't know what the Pawn Stars deal is really.
Well, just like there's memes where it'll be like someone will be there and they'll like, I have the one ring to unite them all. Okay. And then like the guy from Pawn Stars would be like, best I could do is 250.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Ugh.
So
12 sickles in a dumb
I mean,
I always hate that stuff.
yeah, it's like if you understand it, it makes sense because he's like, I'm going to sell this for retail, so I'm going to buy it from you at like what I believe wholesale to be. But sometimes it is pretty fucked up. Yeah. Anyway, so now we watch Semi and Akeem are cleaning the windows, and Semi's like, I have not had sex the entire time I've been here, and I'm in desperate need of a manicure. And Akeem's just like, you bitch.
He does.
Shut up. And then Akeem.
Remind me, why is he there?
Semi.
Yeah.
He is his mandatory best friend. He has to accompany him wherever he goes.
He has to. Is it stated that?
Yeah,
Okay.
later
I
on,
forgot.
the king states that his job was to keep his son from like falling into
Yes,
repute.
yes, you're right. Okay.
And-
So
Presumably, also, he is a pretty powerful physical combatant, even though he's Arsenio Hall. But like he's like probably a bodyguard as well.
Well, yeah, okay, that is true. But because I was just thinking, like, Akeem is like, I want to go on this thing. I want to, see what it's like to be the normal man. I want to find true love and whatever. And I'm like, this guy clearly wants none of this shit, but gets dragged along for it. So I
In
was like,
Norse
wait,
terms,
why?
I think Semi would be his house Carl.
oh yeah,
So Akeem gets he happens to walk by at the right time where Patrice is looking for a date to the St. John's game, and he's like, "Well, Lisa will be there, so of course I'll go." And now we get to watch some b-ball. And all right, I'll give you. We could cut out. There's like 2 minutes of basketball here that is a little too long. But anyway, like Daryl just immediately, I didn't write it down, but he's just throwing some class warfare right at Akeem.
Yep.
He's just like, I bet you don't wipe your ass in Africa. And he's like, well, as a matter of fact.
Which I don't, actually. Yeah, somebody does. I don't do it.
I think his opening line was something like, "It must be a new thing for you wearing clothes here."
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do for sports? Chase around monkeys?
Elephants and zebras, actually.
Me and my friends just ride around on a horse and smash people with mallets. just crush peasants.
Yeah, why not?
It's fun.
And Patrice, man,
Yep.
just
She's like, how about you take your jacket off so no one can see my hand going for your crotch?
yeah, immediately. Like I know this is first 10 minutes of first date, but hey, I'm bored, I guess.
Just sat down.
What I'll give Patrice is she, like, her whole thing is like, I'm honest about it.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
what I'm here for.
Oh yeah.
It's just, we're not going to waste time.
You're coming in America today.
Again, I partially feel bad for her. I don't know, because I'm a little torn.
Why?
She does some of this to herself. Well, she gets really kind of screwed over in this movie, but she does some of it to herself.
I mean, screwed over how?
Because she starts with like, hey, I'm looking for a date. I'm going to ask the first guy I see, bad move. But that first guy happens to be into her sister, and he's like, all right, I'll go because I want to be near your sister. So that's not really cool.
Yeah, but she doesn't really seem to want to get to know this guy. She
No.
just
No.
kind of wants to jerk
Well,
him.
that's why I'm like, I kind of feel bad for her, but I don't know because she kind of seems to be doing it to herself.
Yeah.
And then she goes to like meet up with him or whatever. Jumping ahead here, but ends up messing around with Arsenio Hall when he says he's a prince. So she gets duped by all that shit. And then it totally has like her sister break her trust and start dating the guy that she was kind of dating or whatever. And then I think she fucks her sister's ex-fiance. Like it's the
Yep.
whole thing.
Well,
Some
never
people-
actually her fiance. His self-declared.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yes, that's a weird area.
We're getting ahead.
Some women just be thirsty.
Well, that's fine. Like if she's not treating it like I'm just trying to just jump from dick to dick.
Is she not?
She's doing that, but she's saying like I'm looking for a date, not I'm just gonna take him to the back.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I
like
can
she.
say I'm gonna lose weight, but then I just ate all this bullshit.
Well, the way that she was presented, it almost seemed like she thought that this was what she should be doing to get a date,
Yeah.
and not like what she necessarily wants. But
No, she says straight up it's what she wants.
Yeah.
When they're talking to each other on the couch in the scene before when she was dancing and the earrings got delivered. She's like, most people are like me. They just lie about it. So yeah, she wants some D.
yeah.
Let her go for it.
Yeah, no, good for her.
Either way, Akeem, in an attempt to escape, makes the rookie escape of going to the bathroom during halftime, where everyone else is also trying to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And while waiting in line, a beverage vendor who happens to be a citizen of Zamunda recognizes him and just freaks out. He's like, "It is you!" And starts like worshiping him and whatnot. And then, like Akeem finally gets him to leave. And then the guy comes back with another citizen of Zamunda, and they take a picture with Akeem.
Can I get a selfie?
Yeah. And then they're bowing down to him and whatnot. And, Lisa's like, "Who's that?" And he's like, "Just some man I met in the bathroom."
I'll remember this experience forever.
Yeah.
I bet you
Smart
will.
play. Smart play.
And meanwhile, he's got a cum stain on the front of his pants.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So we got back to the restaurant, and Lisa is now, Akeem's at the point with her where she's telling him to stop doing work and sit down and talk to her. And he quotes some Nietzsche to her. I forget, what about. But either way, Samuel L. Jackson enters the chat with a shotgun. Mm-hmm. And he just comes in and he's like, give me the fucking money. Louis Anderson, you suck at life. You can't shovel money in a bag. You can't do anything, fat boy. And he's just berating the shit out of him. And Akeem and Semi spring into action. Akeem like unscrews the mop and just comes at him with the mop handle. He warns him. He's like, you have to, tone your language down. You have to put the gun down, or I will be forced to thrash you. And Samuel Jackson's like, who the fuck are you?
He seemed less interested in killing him and more just like shocked and indignant.
Mm-hmm. So,
who's this motherfucker with a mop handle?
Yeah.
He knocks the gun away, sweeps the leg with the mop handle, and then at the same time, Semi goes vaulting over the counter, grabs the shotgun. Samuel Jackson, the moment he hits the ground, because it's the 80s, he has the butterfly knife, just like pops out of his hand, and like he's gonna cut him. And then Semi points the shotgun at him, and he's like, "Freeze, you rhinoceros pizzle."
Diseased rhinoceros.
Diseased rhinoceros.
Pizzle, yeah.
And I always thought that was an edit. And he said some other dirty word. But then thinking about it, I'm like, no, that's totally what somebody would say. Yeah.
Yep.
Diseased rhinoceros penis. It's Although I do wonder, like, Samuel Jackson, like you said, quickly pulls out that butterfly knife. Like, you couldn't beat him with a broom when you had a shotgun pointed at him. I don't think you're going to win this fight with a butterfly knife.
Yeah. So now, they're outside changing the trash, and Mr. McDowell's like, "Oh, you guys did so good. That guy's robbed us like 5 times. You know what your reward is? You get to be valets at my house party." But
Moving on up.
Valets and bartender.
yeah, Akeem gets to be a
welcome to the
bartender.
world.
And you see, Mr. McDowell's got a pretty cool house.
Yeah.
His bar has a train, but his bar's like 5 feet long.
Mm-hmm.
None of it, I don't know why he has the train, but whatever.
Status symbol.
Yeah.
Autism.
So Daryl comes over and starts talking to.
I say, staring at my train.
Yes, there is a giant Lego train right behind me.
Excuse me as I walk on my toes out of here.
I did have a moment where I was like, were you answering the question of why the train is there, or just announcing your own personal things?
Yes.
Just reminiscing about the concept of autism.
Yeah.
So now Daryl's there talking to Akeem, and he's like, check this out. You got to take charge of a woman. You just got to make the decisions for her. Women love that.
Damn right.
So we see.
Well, before then, he was like, I would have helped you out back there, but I had a cup of coffee in my hand.
Yeah.
You understand. So.
I didn't want to spill it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to throw that at fucking Samuel
no.
Jackson or something.
Throw my milkshake at you earlier, but,
Yeah, proving he does have good aim
Yeah.
with a beverage.
So we meet Daryl's family, and they're all Jerry curled up. And as they get up from their chair, they have grease stains behind them. And whatchamacallit. Now, basically, everyone's up there except for Lisa. Like, everyone's like grouped together, and they're like, Daryl just proposed to Lisa, and Lisa said yes. And Lisa's like, when the fuck did that happen?
News to me.
Yeah. So Lisa's pissed. She goes outside, and whatchamacallit.
Pulls Daryl.
Yeah. Well, first, Semi when he hears the news, he takes like all the champagne on his tray that he's serving and just downs it all.
Yep.
But then, she takes Daryl into the other room and is like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" I hate you. Gives him the stone cold stunner and, leaves the house. And she's like sitting outside on the swing set when, Akeem rolls up and he's got a coat for her. He's got some words of encouragement. He's scoring all the points here. He's saying everything right. He's passing all his charisma checks. And whatchamacallit, that's when Patrice pops out and is like, Akeem, get back in here so I can fuck you. We need more champagne. So the next day, Semi, he's in bed and he's just surrounded by fast food wrappers. And I can only think, knowing this is way before Super Size Me and at the height of just McDonald's being sludge. And they're coming from Africa where they're given probably an optimal diet for their physical condition. Just the havoc that's wreaking on their digestive tract.
Yeah. Actually, now that you mention it, the movie should have stopped halfway through and the rest of it should just be them on the toilet.
Why did we come to America?
Yeah. And this isn't even McDonald's.
That's why he doesn't want to go to work.
It's McDowell's. One of the first scenes you see in there is flipping hamburgers with his hand.
Yep. Yeah, just with his bare hand.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll do it. And he only flips half of them.
Yeah.
Leaves the other half to just fester. Anyway, so Akeem's like, all right, Semi, I keep calling him Semi. Semi, you hate you hate the filth we live in. Do something about it. But you still have to go to work today. But that's going to come back to bite Akeem in the ass later. So now at work, Lisa and Akeem agree to go on a date. And they're going to, make dinner. And, Akeem is...
Akeem offers to cook for her.
Yeah, that's right. She'll buy the groceries.
Yeah.
And they go back to his place.
Which Akeem's never cooked a damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to start with that. Just what the hell do you think you're doing?
Especially in an apartment like that.
I
can't
will
imagine
say-
the kitchenette is very good.
I think Akeem realized that if he continues eating McDowell's, he is going to die. So he's had to learn to cook and whatnot.
Sure. I mean, it could be, but we don't see it.
Anyway, so the apartment now, when he's about to go in the apartment, you see there's a hot tub in it. It's it is peak 80s bling. There's neon everything. There's a light up Empire State Building in the background. It's fancy as all.
Yeah, a huge stereo system.
Yeah.
Yep. So Akeem is ashamed of that because he wants her to think that he's a pauper. So he's like, we can't go in. There's a really big rat. And she's like, I think you just don't want to show me your apartment, but that's fine. We'll take a walk.
Yeah, I
We'll
called
go
this
out
out
to
while
eat.
watching it, but I get, he really spruced the place up. He did a great job,
Yeah.
but it's still a shit apartment. It's still looking at a brick wall. It's still in a terrible neighborhood. It's still only 3 feet by 3 feet wide.
Yeah.
And I think you're sharing an apartment, possibly a bed with Semi.
But at the same time,
maybe.
none of that stuff.
Yeah, all the stuff that's inside there now. Plus, he did clean up the actual the walls and everything.
Yeah.
Look good now. But all the stuff that's in there would be equivalent to probably couple, at least $50,000, if not $100,000 worth of
Yeah.
Sure,
stuff.
but
that they don't have.
Yeah.
well, but that's when I would just be like, oh yeah, I guess he bought this shit. Basically have the actual reaction of coming in what the fuck?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Where'd you buy? How'd you buy all this shit?
I don't think that would fly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
It's better than being like, we can't go in, rat. We're just never gonna go in this apartment. I'm gonna buy the rest of the apartment building or whatever the fuck.
Akeem has a plan. So he takes all of Semi's money. He's like, now you cannot create any more mischief. And then he's like, he's going to trade the apartment out with for the landlord's apartment. But anyway, he goes for a walk with her. He's scoring more points with her. He has the money in a McDowell's bag, and he just happens to walk by from trading places the Dukes sleeping in the gutter, fresh from having all of their money taken by a different Eddie Murphy than Dan Aykroyd. And, he hands them a couple $100,000. And, Randolph and Mortimer are like, we're back. And then, they go to the restaurant and the Dukes walk by and knock on the window and thank them. And that's probably the nicest thing the Dukes ever did. So then he tells her that he was a goat herder. And he knows so much because the goats pretty much just take care of themselves and you have a lot of time to read. And then they go and they dance and they embrace. And she's like, well, what about Patrice? And he's like, I'm not interested in Patrice. She's like, what about Daryl? He's like, I am not interested in Daryl. And then they do some makeouts.
And again, I said while watching this, isn't that your problem?
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't interested in your sister. He's not interested in your whatever the fuck that guy is for you now. But I think you're still somehow involved with him, and you're going to upset your sister, but you don't seem to give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Akeem's just that special.
hey, all right.
So now we get the telegram scene. I love this scene. Like we never see this character again, but like this actress plays it perfectly. Because like the telegram that Semi's trying to send is objectively crazy. He's just like, we're in dire straits. We've lost all our money. So please send us 300,000 American dollars.
It's a Nigerian prince.
It's pretty standard now.
And then she's like, why just 300,000? And he's like, what should I ask for 5? He's like, just go for a cool $1 million.
Yeah.
Your humble servant, Semi. It's like Semi. So then after doing, after sending the, lighting the fires of Gondor to call for help, Semi comes home and Patrice is in full like ambush mode. Mm-hmm. She's wearing like barely anything. And she's like, oh, damn it, you're not Akeem. He's like, but why do you have all this stuff? And he's like, well, I'm going to get laid now. Basically tells her that he's a Nigerian prince. Mm-hmm. And, he gets some makeouts. And now Akeem is coming home from his date, and he's dancing and singing through the streets, and everyone is just like, shut up!
This scene was one of those where I was started to be like, okay, this is going on too long.
Yeah.
And then it won me back. Like, the more people were aggressively shouting at him, the more I was like, all right.
Well, that's the thing. Like I said, they function kind of like those Family Guy jokes where it's like, well, here's
this
the
was
thing.
funny though.
Well, yes, but the general idea is like, we're gonna do something. It's gonna be kind of funny, and then we're gonna do it until it's people stop finding it funny. And the idea is you keep doing it long enough where it starts to swing around and be funny again. And sometimes that works. In this case, it does. And Family Guy jokes not all the time,
The rule of threes.
or sometimes never. But
So now Mr. McDowell talks to Lisa about Akeem, and he's like, look, you'd be happy with Daryl. He has a ton of money. I don't want you to have to struggle. You should just be with him, not Akeem. And she's like, but Akeem makes me happy. He's like, well, Daryl could make you happy too.
It's like, Dad, do you not have money? Are you not going to leave me anything?
He's like, oh no, when I retire, I'm blowing through all that.
yeah, like you could just like probably franchise out another restaurant to Akeem. Like,
Yeah.
we'll be set.
Well, I planned on getting a gambling addiction and losing it all, honey. So
Yeah, it's been a while since your mother passed, and well, there are whores waiting to be had. So let's go.
Spend it all on Coke and blow.
Yeah, Vegas, baby.
Deep in Reaganomics, you know what it's going to do to
the
you? Inflation's going to do
80s.
to your inheritance. But anyway, so now they trade apartments with their landlord. The landlord sees their apartment and he's like, "Is this shit hot?"
I mean, fair question given the circumstances.
And he's like, "You know what? You could have my apartment. I'll stay here. That's fine." So
Akeem asks him, "Does your apartment look poor?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's a real shithole." Okay.
So now Akeem goes on a date with Lisa. They're going to a museum.
Also, just quick, there's another failing of his. Like, okay, whatever. You think he spruced it up too much, spent too much money on it. You're not going to look poor enough. I don't know how much shit you need to smear on the walls to make this woman happy or whatever. But, like, rent another apartment, like, preferably maybe one of the neighbors.
Yep.
Because I'll tell you one thing. Doesn't matter how well it works. You are not getting laid in this apartment with Arsenio Hall like 3 feet away. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, just let Semi have his own apartment.
Yeah. Sorry, Semi, yes.
So now fucking the King of Zamunda shows up with the whole royal retinue. This motherfucker, James Earl Jones, steps out of this limo looking regal as fuck. He's in this fancy suit. He's got this long coat. He's got all kinds of medals, and he's wearing a fucking lion.
A lion.
Just a lion head with like two gold bar things for eyes. And majestic as fuck.
Yeah.
And yeah, he shows up at the apartment, and well, first he goes to the barber shop, and fucking Eddie Murphy has some shit to say to him there. Then he visits the landlord's apartment, and he's sitting in the hot tub, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, you want to go down to my apartment down on the first floor." So then finally he knocks on the door, and Semi opens the door, and just freaks the fuck out.
Screams at him.
Yeah, slams the door.
That's an overdone joke, but it's done perfect.
Yeah.
So then, what should we call it? He basically like throws Semi against the door and is holding him and is like, what have you done? And he's like, your son's gone mad. He took all the money, and he wants to have a job and be poor and all that. And, James Earl Jones is like, you have failed me for the last time. I'm going to confine you to the Waldorf Astoria and have you thoroughly bathed. And,
Thank you, Lord.
Semi's like, awesome.
Yeah.
Now we cut to Mr. McDowell is talking on his cheeseburger phone, and he's trying to repair things with Daryl, and invites him over tonight. And then the royal family show up at McDowell's, and ask him where Akeem is, and he's like, he's out on a date with my daughter, and call me if you see him, and for your troubles, just hands him like 100-pound note with Akeem's face on it. Mm-hmm. We has Oha do that, and then he's like, if they come back here, I'll tell them you were looking for him. And he's like, no, I will deal with him myself. And I had like a Darth Vader moment.
Mm-hmm. I believe that was directly a reference, because something else he says there is similar to a line Darth Vader had.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something about don't alert him to our presence or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, he might as well have just told Semi that he failed for the last time.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All right.
Let out Darth Vader modulated fart.
Fucking underwear just failed for the last time.
Joe's sitting on the dark side now.
He's force choking all of us.
I have altered the color of your underpants. Pray I don't alter it further.
So now,
By the way, though, while we're on that, a question that
Joe's ass.
no, the rest of it, a question that came up for me during this movie. James Earl Jones.
yep.
Scary when he's mad at you and got a straight face, or when he's smiling.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean,
That man can be intimidating whenever he wants. Even though I know, like, in a straight fight, it's still like an old guy. But
And deceased, yeah. It's
Yeah.
really not too much of
But
a
like,
Yeah, nowadays
well,
it's
even
not really
even
an
back
issue.
then, even if this was like 1987, but he has multiple people at his disposal that will hand me my ass without too much trouble.
just because I was thinking, like, around here, he's Semi slams up against the wall and he's like yelling at him or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, because James Earl Jones, especially with that voice, he's very intimidating. But I was also thinking earlier when he's, first takes his son out and is talking about like, oh, you want to go to America or whatever, go have your sex trip. He's smiling all the time. And I'm like, he looks so friendly, and yet I'm concerned he's about to bite his head off.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's happening here.
He's got a bad touch loaded up in there. So now Akeem's at the museum with Lisa, and they're in the African exhibit, and there's just a fucking picture of the Zamundo royal family. So he like throws her like out of the way, and gives her the make out. He's like, "Let's just get out of here. We gotta go." So they go back to the McDowell house. And Mr. McDowell, suddenly he's like, Akeem, you sexy bastard, sit down. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to make you hors d'oeuvres. I have to make a phone call. Don't you fucking move. Then, like, Daryl rings the doorbell, and he's like, get the fuck out of here. Daryl's like, you told me to come here.
You invited me over.
Patrice, fluff our guest.
Yeah, then he like, rings the doorbell again. He's like, can't you see she doesn't love you? Then after the third time, he's like, that's it. Dottie, get him. And this little, like dog's the size of Eric LaSalle's foot. Just launches on him. It's like,
he beats the shit out of that dog with the flower.
He sure does.
that's true. We don't see the dog anymore.
it's
No,
dead.
he
it's gone.
probably did have to fight it to the death. So
Threw it up on the roof.
No, we do see the dog later, so it is alive.
He pepper sprayed it with Soul Glow. Imagine that if the dog came back in afterwards. It was like, oh,
Jerry
That would be amazing.
just flops over, asphyxiated.
It just leaves a big stain on
Yeah.
the little dog bed.
So, all right, now, whatchamacallit, Akeem finally leaves, and Lisa makes her dad confess that, like, Akeem, turns out he is super rich. He's a prince. He's like, you did such a good job, honey. And then Lisa's like, you motherfucker, and goes to her room. It starts raining. Akeem gets out of a cab and walks into the Waldorf Astoria, and while the royal family, meanwhile, arrives at the McDowells, and King Joffrey goes to see Lisa in her room, and he's just like, yes, my son cannot possibly love you. He has a bride waiting for him. He simply was on a global fuck tour, and you were the first and last stop because I'm taking him home. So, goodbye. And yeah, she's just like, I gotta go. And here's finally where McDowell becomes like a redeeming character. He's like, what the hell did you say to my daughter? He's like, you motherfucker.
Oh.
And, the queen is like, King, apologize. And he's like, I will not. This man is beneath me.
So is his daughter.
Yeah. He's like, I'll give him $1 million to shut up. And like, McDowell's like, this is America. I'll break my foot off in your ass. So,
That's my black mama.
Honestly, this might have been a really good fight.
then,
I mean, they're both past their prime, but like,
I don't know. I think John Amos could do some real damage.
oh, I know he could, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they both are people I would not want to anger, so I'd be interested to see them go at it.
so, yeah, first move of the fight, John Amos tears his pants off.
Oh yeah, and then it's pretty much over from there.
So, should we call it? Now Patrice runs in, and this is when Akeem and Semi show back up, and she's like, "No, Akeem's not the prince. Semi's the prince." And everyone's looking at him, and he's just like, and off camera, King Joffrey's like, "Oha, remove his penis." And the queen tells Akeem to go after Lisa and tells Joffrey to shut up, put a sock in it. And meanwhile, Daryl knocks on Patrice's door, who has her own like door to outside for nocturnal transgressions.
I guess.
Yeah, you know, hey, why
Was
not?
it a door?
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
it like lit out to the patio or something.
Okay.
It was like the
Well, Mr. McDowell got tired of her sneaking out the window and just
made her a door.
Just put the door. So anyway,
maybe her bedroom was like converted from the den or something originally.
Yeah, whatever.
So
It
she-
should just be a
Den
door. I
of
thought it was a
sin.
window, but
so she's like, all right, well, first thing we have to do is get you out of these wet clothes. And Daryl's like, you know what? Fine.
Yep. Sure, let's do
We'll
this.
make this work.
yep.
Then Akeem chases Lisa onto the subway. They have a confrontation, and like the fact that they're doing this on the subway is great. Like it's prime subway drama. These people are just watching like a man renounce his throne for this woman and say that he's her true love, and she's like, she won't let him do that. You know, and she's too concerned about, you know, him being royalty and his ruining his life or whatever, and also his dad's an asshole. And so she finally, like, he tells her to marry him, and everyone in the subway's like, fucking marry him. And she turns him down and walks off. And then a lady on the subway is like, if you're a prince, I'll marry you. Hands her the $500,000 earrings.
She smiles like she's just gotten laid.
I mean,
Because I think she was like, does this mean yes? But then the doors closed and she's like, I'm confused.
But I'm $500,000.
And I'm at the wrong stop. What?
Yeah, and he goes off on the train.
Yeah.
Like, he's left all of his attendants behind. Like, he's on the New York subway. They're never finding him.
I mean, just for many reasons, but particularly you're on the New York City subway. You just talked about how you're a prince and you're flashing, $1 million earrings or
Yeah.
whatever. You are dead.
Yep.
You are not making it home.
So 3 months later, after they finally find him, in the subway system, they're leaving the Waldorf Astoria, which is now flying the flag of Zamunda. I should also point out the king has like an FBI Secret Service escort around him
Attachment,
too.
yeah.
He's got the cops, police motorcycles in front of and behind the convoy. His entourage, yeah. And Semi attempts to comfort Akeem by saying, "At least we learned to make French fries."
Hurt.
I mean, it's a pretty big deal.
It's a good skill. I mean, I'm sure the concept of a fryolator did not exist in their minds before they came to America.
But Wakanda has the most advanced technology
It's
in
not
the world.
Wakanda, fucking.
Wakanda is just a little south of them.
Yeah.
And they're very upset that they don't have their fryolator technology.
All the
okay?
people that try to find Wakanda end up in Zamunda.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. Vibranium probably makes a shitty fryolator anyway. But
The bigger question is, was Eddie Murphy at that that ceremony where they crowned what's his name, the king, when they fought on the waterfront there or the waterfall?
oh yeah,
Oh, you didn't see him come out of the little portal
I don't
in
know
Endgame?
I definitely didn't see
I
that.
don't know if Zamunda Wakanda lets Zamunda in there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. All right.
But so the queen just turns to the king and is like, "Look, you dickless, you wonder, fucking, this is obviously what your son wants. It's what I want. I will not shut up about this." And he's like, "But it's tradition." And he's like, "Fuck tradition. You're the king. Do whatever the hell you want."
Right. That's your whole thing.
He's like,
what's
well,
the point otherwise? Why be the king?
What about this woman who has been trained from birth to be his wife, who is absolutely going to be destroyed by the rejection here?
She can work at McDowell's.
Yeah.
That would explain a lot.
She can be his new daughter.
Yeah, yes. She is fully qualified to mop floors at McDowell's.
That's the dowry. He's like, "I have taken your daughter and I've replaced her with a different one."
And some
This
french
one is
fries.
much more obedient.
Yeah.
It's true.
Could you imagine her as a customer service representative?
Yes. With the amount of customer service representatives I had to deal with, I can
Yeah.
imagine that's definitely the case.
There's no war in Ba Sing Se.
More importantly, I'm imagining because of her mental condition, she's gonna end up with whatever you want to call this, her training, shall we say,
Or her Pavlovian condition.
yeah, she's gonna end up with Louis Anderson, and
Yep.
their kids are what's ruining the world right now.
Okay, so now we're back in Zamunda, and it's the wedding ceremony of the prince, and he looks sad, and the bride is walking up, and she is wearing just the widest dress in the world. This thing's
It's like a bus.
yeah, it's like 15 feet across. We were joking on there's either like a team of little people or like a baby elephant or something under the back of it, because like the dress is like 40 feet long.
There's hustle in that bustle.
Yeah, it's undulating in the middle of it as she walks. Like
This is what you need to wear during COVID, just because it keeps people 6 feet away in all directions.
it must be detachable. I don't know how they got her out the door, but anyway,
All clothes are detachable.
yeah. Well, true, but so she comes up. She's got the veil on. He pulls the veil back, and surprise, it's Lisa. Happy time. He basically just fucks her right there. Like Oha's like, Your Highness, that's not proper. There's guests present.
We haven't gotten to that part yet.
Yeah, just a tide of hormones, like the Red Sea being parted, just crashes together, and they consummate the marriage right there on the floor of the royal hall.
Consummate V's.
Consummate V's. No, but we get the final joke as they're they're leaving in the royal carriage to probably just circle around and go back in the palace, but she's like, you would have given all this up for me? And he's like, we still can if you want. She's like, nah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I like love, but I like being rich more.
And then we get like the classic 80s, like the little shorts of each cast member where you get like 5 seconds of like an outtake of them doing a scene.
Like Predator, where you get to watch everyone who died.
Yeah,
Die again.
Predator is super out of place. They're all like doing thumbs up and stuff.
Oh, that thumbs up is the arm you got blown off.
You're just a skull now. But whatchamacallit, this goes on a little too long in the sense that they're giving it to Everett. They're giving it to the Telegram lady. They're giving it to like Don Amici and the other guy.
They're giving it to each Eddie Murphy performance.
And then finally, at the end of this, there's a little stinger where it's we get a joke from the old Jewish man about the soup not having a spoon, and then the movie ends.
Yep.
And Eric's underwear being clean has ended.
Apparently, it's already hit Tony.
It's dangerously cheesy.
I'm not.
Did someone open the Cheetos, or is that where it's
Yeah,
at?
I honestly had a thing where I'm like, I hope that didn't come from me picking up my phone. I don't know. All right.
So, this movie, how it do?
Just gets worse every time.
Fading
So
fast.
on Rotten Tomatoes, all right. Critics gave this a score of 73%. Audience gave this a score of 85%. That's their thoughts and opinions. Rob, wake up. Tell us what you think.
I enjoyed it. It's fun. As we mentioned, I don't want my comedies to be 2 hours long. But it didn't drag or anything like that. Most of the jokes landed for me. There's not a whole lot else to say. Like the makeup and stuff was genuinely like insane. Some of it.
Baker does good work.
Yeah. I recommend it overall. Not much else to say. It was a
Alright.
comedy and it was funny. That's really
Okay. Yeah. Brick.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was sweet in certain cases and generally funny. I didn't have any problems with the pacing. My only criticism would be like at the very end, it almost felt like they ran out of time to record because there's just her saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't marry you," runs off. The prince goes off in the subway, and then all of a sudden they're reunited. There's no explanation as to what happened in the middle there. I would have liked a little bit more detail given on that. And, as you pointed out, they could have cut out some sections, not even sections, but like seconds off of certain scenes. But yeah, overall, I give it a B. It was a good movie.
Joe.
I mean, like, I'm not lying when I say I think like 80s was the best decade for comedies, and they don't make them like this anymore. And I mean, I've seen this movie like possibly 50 times because it would be on TV a lot, and I would, whatever point I caught it, I'd watch it till the end. And like I know all the lines and stuff, but it's still, there's things in there that still, get me, make me laugh. Just top notch. Like I love all the characters. I love the dialogue. The performances are great. I love like the Kingdom of Zamunda and just everything. I mean, it's like, for me, it's like, A plus. I don't know if I would put this in my top 10 or anything like that, but it's up there. It's one of, like, when I'll point to like Predator, RoboCop, Die Hard, as like the prototypical action movies, like Coming to America for me is one of what I'd point to for like a prototypical comedy. And I love this movie.
Okay.
I would recommend it.
Good to hear. John.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really my cup of tea, so to speak, but I'm definitely gonna not recommend it. So yeah, I mean, it's what
Trying to write this down. I'm not sure what that man says, but all right, keep going.
So yeah, I'll give it a light recommend. It's not something that I would seek out to watch just to watch, but it's fun enough.
All right. Yeah, I'd recommend it as well. I think I've only seen it maybe once in its entirety, but then catching bits and pieces of it on TV, who knows how many times here and there throughout the years. It's pretty funny. I'm not gonna go as far as Joe in saying this is like my go-to idea for a comedy, but it is entertaining. It's a decent enough story, but especially now learning about even the director wanting to tighten it up. I think that if they've had a version of that, I would recommend it more heartily. But it is still good. So I recommend.
Rob,
he went first.
Oh,
Yeah. So coming to
overall,
America.
Yeah, overall we recommend Coming to America.
Today.
Well, I think Tony's been writing it down. Who gets to die next?
Yeah.
That would be actually me.
Oh, no.
It's the birthday roll for the birthday boy.
I hope you get a 20, Tony, on your birthday.
As long as you don't get a 3.
You don't know what a 3
Right
is?
behind you.
Or do you?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh. I'll tell you right now, it's Coming to America.
I will. Okay.
Yes.
Oh. Well, I will point out there was a RPG I ran where I gave Tony a magic item that he got to re-roll the D20 if he rolled a 3
Well, guess
because he
what?
rolled
Today
that
it happens
so
again.
damn much.
So we're just gonna do Coming to America again.
Yeah, we'll do Coming
Second
to
verse,
America.
same as the first.
All right. Oh, it's a 6. I doubled my score.
That's interesting.
Yeah, 6 is 1990s Darkman.
I've never seen
Burnt-faced
this.
Liam Neeson.
Oh,
Hey,
yes.
Give me the fuzzy elephant.
Yeah.
Another film I've only ever seen on television.
Yeah, I have never actually seen all of Darkman.
Yeah, I couldn't tell
wow.
you outside of like the scene with the cigar cutter or some shit.
Yeah.
I think that's all I remember.
No, at
about
one
it.
point his face falls on a griddle. or a burner or something.
There you go.
So yeah.
About it. And the stuffed elephant, he freaks out over.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into it later, I guess.
All right. There you go.
Rob's got to go to bed.
Thank you all so much for joining us. We will see you next time for check us out on Patreon. We're putting up a new episode there of just a bunch of snacks we tried out, so that's pretty fun. So
Speaking of that, Rob, I will give you $1 if you can pick all the garbage out, but if you take all of the detritus from your the last episode we recorded, put another plate on top of that, Gallagher smash it, and then eat the paste that is of all of that mixed together.
you can keep your $1.
There has to, if they're not there, there has to be at least 3 of the pizza flavored cheese.
Here's the thing: if I do that, I will just look like a Play-Doh fun factory with slime going in and slime coming out.
I picture it'll be some stage of the guy who explodes in Big Trouble in Little
Yeah,
China.
well, it may even be like the Play-Doh spaghettis coming
Oh,
out
no.
at this point. Yeah.
Offer rescind.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to pass on that one. But thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
I totally thought Arsenio Hall was a concert.
Shut up.
venue.
Say goodbye.
Oh, I thought we were done. I already got up. Adios.
Amateurs.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, and if possible, leave a review. If you have questions, comments, or would like to sponsor an episode, email us at the4ampodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to support the show, you can buy a t-shirt, hoodie, and more at Teespring. Or gain access to exclusive content by becoming a patron at patreon.com/4ampodcast. Thanks again for listening. See you next time.